Good evening, everybody. So, I was at my local post office, yes, here in Washington, D.C., and I lost consciousness. This led to a time warp between standing at the counter and sitting in a chair by the front entrance. The postal clerk hovering over me said, "Hi, what's your name? Can I get you a glass of water? I think you might have had a seizure." She had understood, she had recognized what I had experienced as I stood there frozen and twitching in front of her at the counter, as she had a family member who had epilepsy. I'm grateful for her kind tone all the way through to these days today. In fact, when I go to the post office today, she greets me with, "How are you, my darling?" That was in 2019. My seizures had grown in intensity, had increased in numerous times a day. They were getting out of control. I needed to do something about this. My anxiety about having these seizures had become a constant. My deteriorating mental health had led to a sequence of job losses. I needed to make a change. To use a sailing expression, I needed to tack the boat. Next, I had a conversation with a surgeon at Johns Hopkins. If you've ever had a conversation like this, you kind of know how they go. He said, "We're going to saw off the top of your head, and then we're going to scoop out the damaged parts of your brain, and it'll be a straightforward operation. You'll be home after 3 days in hospital, you'll be at home recovering." I went, "Really? And roughly how many stitches?" He goes, "About 80 staples from just over your right eye to behind your right ear." And I said, "Crikey," to use an Australian expression, "holy Moses, that's a bloody railway track." So I'd been diagnosed with a seizure condition 2.5 weeks before my wife and I were to be married. Yeah, bad timing. But our wedding was seizure-free. My wife and I wrestled with the decision, and one morning after I had gotten off the phone with the doctors from Johns Hopkins, she said, "We're in this together." Later that day, she gave me a card, and the card had a picture on it of our 2 dogs swimming in the Chesapeake Bay, holding a stick in their mouths. And inside the card read, "Swimming in the bay, doing the doggy paddle, holding a stick is difficult enough, but better together." Anything the universe throws at us, we'll get through this. She was committed, we were going to get it done. So on we went. It's February 2020, and we're at the hospital. My wife and I had wrestled with this decision about the surgery because every progressive seizure was causing increased damage to my brain. Avoiding the surgery was paramount to making a slippery slide into forever brain damage. And the prospect of brain damage, that was just a grim prospect I didn't want any part of. And basically, a seizure disorder is a bad thing for a brain. Don't let anybody fool you. So it's February 2020. We're at the hospital. Hopkins is a crazy place. It's 2 weeks before the first COVID lockdown. The alarm goes off at 5:30 in the morning. We both look at each other at the same time and go, "Are we doing this?" And she says, "Yes, but I'm scared. I don't know if you're going to be the same person again." I said, "I know, I'm scared too, but we got to do this." She then offers me looks at me again and says, no matter what happens, I'll love you. We're going to get this done. We're going to get through this. So it's now 7:10, 7 o'clock. I'm in the pre-op outside the OR. I'm surrounded by the medical staff, the competent medical staff. They're buzzing about. I've got my sister-in-law with me, my wife, and a surreal sense of it's going to be okay engulfs me. The next thing I know, I'm wheeled into the OR. Once in the OR, I feel like I'm at ease because everything in there is for me. You got flashing lights, you got computers, you got screens, you got things that go ping. There are mirrors on the ceiling. It's wonderful. It's just magical being in there. Well, fast forward to a few hours later, I'm out of the OR. I'm now into recovery. Fast forward 2 years, I'm standing before you. With relentless brain training, yoga, and psychotherapy, I've managed to rebuild pathways in my brain. I've managed to use the brain training therapy sessions to develop, which have helped me develop memory recall. Yes, I can recite the US presidents forwards and backwards, all 45 of them, 6 of them, all 46 of them backwards. I am now more positive, more thoughtful, more resilient than I ever was. The anxiety that I had prior to the surgery about an impending seizure has dissipated, has gone away. I'm more thoughtful about who I attend to. I'm more grateful and appreciative of everybody in my inner circle. I'm more grateful for what I can accomplish. In closing, I want to say this. A close friend of mine and I were driving to Annapolis, and he turns to me just out of the blue and he says, you know, Maurice, you're the best version of Maurice I've ever known. And I said to myself, you know, Maurice 2.0 isn't so bad. So I think I'll stick around a while, and I'm glad to be here. So thank you very much. I just want to give a quick shout out to a few people who are in the audience. One is my wife. You rock. The other lady is Tammy Sewell, who's from the U.S. Postal Service, who is the lady at the Postal Service. She's here tonight. And the others are the 3 people from Learning RX who have worked with me for the last 2 years on developing my brain training courses. You guys are amazing, and thank you very much.